So I volunteered today at the food bank, and as I've mentioned before, the volunteers sometimes get extras, or if they have items that are not enough to give out, they set them aside for us. And if they haven't given out all of everything, especially the produce, they let the volunteers take whatever's left over after all the clients have gone through. So here's what I got personally, and in a few minutes I'm going to be processing some of these vegetables, and I'll have you join me. So they had extra eggs, so I got a 12 pack of eggs. I'm actually not going to keep these. I'm going to give them to one of my neighbors who loves eggs. I have enough eggs right now, so one of the joys of doing this is I can share with other people. They had a couple of things of bananas, so I picked one up, and I will be eating the ones that are in good shape, and the rest I'll be peeling, wrapping in wax paper and putting in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer, and then they stay nice and good and beautiful looking, and I will use them for either baking or for use in smoothie. It's so nice to have them. They also had a couple of these big bags. They had a big bag of parsley, so I took that. I'm looking forward to using that in some of my vegetable dishes and other things. And they had a big bag of cut up onions, so this was awesome. All the tears, I'm not going to be crying because they're already cut up. We also got to take what there was leftovers from the clients. They sometimes order a little too much, or it's very hard to gauge, how many people are going to be there and how it's going to be. So they had some leftover produce. A lot of people, they had leftover other stuff too. A lot of people go for the cakes and the pies and all that, but I go for the produce. I love produce, and I just feel it has like a lot more value to me than that other stuff. So this is what I got of the leftover produce that they can't take back. Brussels sprouts, potatoes, zucchini, carrots, and pears. So I'm going to go in the kitchen now. I'm putting several of these things together for today and tomorrow, doing some little pre-cooking, so let's go check it out. I'm going to be steaming all of these together, the potatoes, the zucchini, carrots, and the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to be taking the Brussels sprouts out when they're pretty soft and putting them in some olive oil and garlic and roasting them afterwards. I love them when they're roasted. And the potatoes, the carrots, and the zucchini, I'm going to cook until they're all soft, then mash them and make some vegetable potato fritters for tomorrow morning. So I'm going to put those on, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Brussels sprouts got done first, so I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on these and mix them up. And I've got this cast iron pan. I'm going to put them in about a 425 oven and let them roast up. I like it when they get kind of charred and a little bit of that roasting action on the exterior. Then I'm going to spice them, put some herbs on there, and I've made some rice for myself, so I'll be eating that a little bit later. There it is. Get them going. And here are the Brussels sprouts right out of the oven. They are so tasty. I have different ways I like to prepare them. I like to put all three of these spices on at once: the garlic salt, the lemon pepper, and that Badia all-purpose seasoning, or any one of those. I also like them with some soy sauce, and I may be doing that tonight with the rice that I made. So I'm going to set those aside. They're ready to go. And here it is all warmed up, my Brussels sprouts with some rice, some garlic salt and garlic powder, and some of that delicious fresh parsley that I got today. Looking forward to digging in. So here are the veggies I'm going to make into fritters. The zucchini, the carrots, and the potatoes, they're all soft. I'm just going to kind of chop them up a little bit because I'm going to put them in the food processor for a minute just to get them all kind of more fritter-like, I guess. I also got some of these chopped up onions there and some chopped up parsley, so I'll be throwing those in too. Here it all is. Doesn't that look yummy already? I took a handful of onions and a handful of parsley and added it to the vegetables. I'm going to run it through the food processor. Here it is, right out of the food processor. I did not puree it. I like to have some chunks in there. I just took a bite of it. It's delicious just the way it is, though if I was going to eat this right now, I probably should have sauteed the onions first. But it'll be fine tomorrow in the fritter. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and cook it up for breakfast. I went ahead and added an egg and some breadcrumbs to my mashed potato mix there with the vegetables and to make fritters, and here they are frying away in the frying pan. Well, I just tried a bite and these are so incredibly yummy. I think I'm going to have a hard time going back to just plain old potato pancakes after these. These are so good. I don't know if it's the parsley, the onion, or just the mix of vegetables that make these absolutely delicious. Great for breakfast or any meal. I'll be cooking up as much as I can of the fresh veggies I got. Some of them will last longer, like the Brussels sprouts and the potatoes. And some of them go a little faster. I've got these 2 wonderful bags of onions and parsley, so I'll be eating as much of that as I can in the next week or so. And whatever I can't finish or doesn't look like I'm going to finish, I will definitely dehydrate. The pears are a little hard right now, but when they soften up, I'll be cutting them and dehydrating too. And the pears finally softened up, and I cut those up with the mandolin that I got a few months ago. Works so great. Everything came out even and dehydrated evenly, and these are so delicious. They're one of my favorite things to dehydrate. So that's how I processed my food bank leftovers. It is time consuming, but ultimately, for me at least, very satisfying. I like being in charge of my food, and in these inflationary times, it's good to know what to do with what you've got. Now, hopefully you got some ideas if you have extras of any sort of produce, no matter where you got them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a happy spring.